Right-wing commentator Benny Johnson says that Elon Musk told him at Charlie Kirk's memorial service earlier this week he was proud to sit with President Trump for that service. Many are viewing it as a sign that the pair are perhaps mending their relationship after a very public feud that took place over the summer.
And Benny Johnson says that Charlie Kirk himself deserves credit for bringing Musk and the president back together.
Charlie said in this chair right here, he hoped that it happened. There's a clip that went viral yesterday. Charlie saying, I pray that Elon Musk and Donald Trump reconcile. And they did so at Charlie's funeral in Charlie's memory. Mm-hmm. A profound and beautiful example of what Charlie constantly was doing for our movement.
It's been nearly 3 months since Elon Musk left the Department of Government Efficiency that he had helped to create. Now, after the service on Sunday, Musk posted a photo of the two of them talking with the caption, "For Charlie."
Many conservative voices viewed the memorial as a chance to come together in honor of Charlie Kirk. But others on the left felt that the whole thing was more like a MAGA rally than a funeral. Here's what former CNN host Don Lemon had to say.
Donald Trump stood on the stage like a man at the center of a prophecy. He called Charlie Kirk a martyr. Other politicians promised to carry out his mission. The crowd cheered as if the passing of the man had lit some sort of sacred fire. To me, this was not mourning, this was a mobilization. And here is where we have to tell the truth here. What we saw in that arena was not simply faith-finding public expression, it was religious nationalism on full display.
Well, Don Lemon doesn't understand religion or Christianity, especially evangelical Christianity. He is right. There's a call to action that is part of the evangelical Christian experience that is very baked into this country's DNA. Now, it's not my background. I come from a Catholic background, so I don't know what you're...
Catholic.
Oh, you had a Catholic background as well. So maybe you felt the same way I did, where I think it was moving in many ways. I think Erica Trump was very moving. It felt unusual to me because I've never participated in large evangelical things where you pack a stadium and there's, cheering and it has a rally type nature. The Catholic funeral type things there's loud organ music playing. Everybody's in veils.
Don't say a
there's
word.
Flowers.
Yes.
It's a totally different cultural experience. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying it's just different from what I'm used to. And that's fine. There's millions of people in the country who are like that, and I think people of all faiths should be able to appreciate and recognize and mourn Charlie and whatever. And he was not a Catholic, but a
Christian,
some kind of evangelical Christian figure. So it was appropriate to his circumstance. Moving on or backward to Elon and Trump. You saw the photo of them hanging out.
Best buds.
Best buds.
Together.
I was glad to see it. I think...
You've been very much in line with Charlie Kirk's thought about their relationship.
Have affection for each other. I think they really like each other. If Trump didn't like Elon would not have lasted as long as he did. He clearly enjoyed having Elon around. I don't know. I think they're such idiosyncratic individuals who are of such historic importance. It might be a little, lonely at the top to interact with someone who understands what, someone who is at this level of fame and power, endures psychologically, or just we can't even imagine what that's like.
Well, I think
that's me, diagnosing, putting on my little fake psychology hat that I don't have.
And I think you might be over-exaggerating the thought process that's going into the connection. Mm-hmm. For me, it's pretty simple. President Trump doesn't want Elon Musk as a political enemy or an enemy at all. No one wants Elon Musk to run on a third-party ticket because that would only hurt the Republican Party. He could do his 1990s Ross Perot move and take a large percentage of the vote, which even if Democrats have no strategy, as right now I'm not seeing a clear one, they could still win if a large majority a small majority of the Republican vote is taken away in a general election, or even if there's a midterms conversation about putting some third-party candidate in the mix. And so I don't think the Republican Party wants that as a whole. Charlie Kirk said we work better together. I read a CNN article where he was like the mediator. He always took President Trump's side, but he was very much like texting with Elon Musk. Kind of like what you said. You're like, listen, he's a great businessman. Great. You never say anything bad about him, even though he did some horrendous things with DOGE, in my opinion. However, you still would be very much like, okay, well, he has to go then and go back to Tesla, and it's fine. And that was Charlie Kirk's energy, but he wanted them to get better together, because separate, it will kind of cause friction within the party, because there is a lot to talk about that they disagree with, which is actually fundamental policy regarding finances, the way we govern, whether the government is running properly, the amount we're spending, our deficit, a lot that they disagreed about, which is actually important, but it's better if you talk about that like in the house with the door closed.
Yeah.
So I think that is the actual issue, as opposed to, and also having an enemy that acts just like President Trump, which is like knee-jerk reaction, say anything on Twitter, said, where's the Epstein files? You don't want that type of person, like erratic behavior, similar to President Trump's out there just saying anything. It's causing
well, right. That wasn't the root of their fall. Their disagreement was policy based.
Yeah.
Elon Musk didn't like the tariffs, but he was, he held his fire a little bit about that, but he clearly didn't like them. And then he really did not like the big beautiful bill, and that's when he went nuclear. But it wasn't. But
that's what I mean.
And
once
then it got
like
personal. But it wasn't a personal reason.
But that's the thing. If we get political and we talk about policy and we disagree, and then all of a sudden you go to personal attacks. I mean, show me the Epstein file. His names were in there. He was being very aggressive. It wasn't like a light, let's check the Epstein files, like I'll say release the files. He was being very direct, and exactly. So President Trump does not want that type of enemy.
Yeah.
And now,
no, of course not. And Elon is, I think, a good influence over Trump and over MAGA, because, I mean, I would say that. Elon is the most high-profile person in the world who somewhat reflects my ideology, and he was pushing MAGA in a more economically libertarian direction. He is a proponent of the H-1B visa system and other immigration systems for high-skilled immigrants, because he just wants American tech companies to be as successful as possible and to run the day and to beat China and all that. And he knows we need high-skilled workers here for that. He was against the tariffs for similar reasons. His views on economic policy align with mine.
Kind of my whole lens.
Trump. Yeah, and we're keeping MAGA, and we need to at least be in the conversation, or else it's all going to be Steve Bannon, Stephen Miller types who have never built anything in their lives. They wouldn't know how to assemble a Lego kit, and they're trying to micromanage the economy and say, yeah, we don't need as many Indians, we don't need as many Chinese, we don't need as many, and they're like, you don't know how to build anything, and you're running the government. It's not good.
And I want to also talk about my thoughts on Don Lemon, because I think that what he said you have to separate the two things. So what we watched, I think what Erica Kirk did was a profound moment where she was able to actually forgive the killer of her husband and the man who assassinated.
Beautiful.
And it was a beautiful moment. And if you are in like evangelical Christian, because it's not that because I'm Catholic I don't understand it. My best friend is evangelical Christian. Like, I know it gets way more rowdy in there. The music is playing. Like, they have a lot of different experiences than I had when I grew up in a Catholic church with my mom and my aunt. But I will say that, if you look at the whole thing separately, that was a beautiful moment. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday. But then to literally be back-ended by President Trump making it feel like a political rally where he went on and on about how Charlie Kirk would support his tariffs and just tried to make it a campaign speech. Even though Charlie Kirk was political, this was a memorial service for a man's life who died. It's like a funeral service. So there's a lot to Charlie Kirk, I'm assuming, that is more than just political, right? He's a father. He's a lot of things. He's a husband. And he spent the time to just campaign rally at this man's funeral. And I think that was disrespectful, especially when you start to use hateful rhetoric, literally the word hate, to his enemies, saying, oh, I'm different than Erica Kirk. I feel like it was a missed moment, and I think Don Lemon was onto something with that statement, saying that it rubbed him the wrong way, because it was like tone deaf.
I was raised Catholic. You were raised Catholic. Amber's Catholic.
What are we doing? This is the Catholic show.
The Rising Channel.
Oh, yeah, Louis Catholic.
Rising Catholic. That too. I am encountering more and more Catholics these days, just in the world of conservative politics, actually.
My mom will be happy, because I remember one time, I told you my best friend is Christian, so I went to church with her and I came back like, Mommy, I got saved. And she just looked at me like, you're Catholic. So anybody who understands if you already have a religion that you grew up with, and then come home and tell your parents that.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Lots more to talk about on Rising. Stay with us.